What is up? And welcome into the On the Bluff podcast, episode 140. We're going to have plenty to talk about. We have a lot to get into. I am your host, Gabe Kuhn, and alongside me, no Christian Fowler, but we have Kenny Stubblefield. K Stubbs, what's happening, brother?
What's happening, my dog? You good?
Yeah, I'm good, man. Just a little bit tired.
Yeah, bro. I think everybody's a little bit tired.
Well, I have people working on my kitchen. We had some repairs we had to get done with the ceiling. So Crew Pros is taking over my kitchen completely. Everything's covered and can't really use it. Couch is covered. Yeah. So I've been up since they got here. I had to go record an interview today, believe it or not, at the station. I brought along Myers. Myers was with me. Taylor just got back in town from bachelorette trip, and if you listen closely, you can hear him peeping in the back, doing his little yaps. And then I had my wonderful boss watch him for the next 15 minutes of that interview. But yeah, I'm a little tired. What about you? What's happening?
Man, it's been a good weekend. We spent the entire weekend at a gym. Sylla had a volleyball tournament at ECS this weekend, and they went out and they dominated and won first place, man. So it was a good weekend.
You said that they were good. I mean, they must be really damn good. Yeah,
they're pretty good. They went into another middle school today, and I was telling Sylla on the way home, I was like, you've never played for a team like this, but your team, when y'all walk into the gym, people are scared of y'all because y'all are that good. And I was like, the way that they warm up, the way that they dress, the way that they do, all of it's super intimidating because they're all very good. And so it was a very quick game. I'll just say that it didn't last very long.
Just walk in your trap, take over your trap, huh?
Yeah, I tried to explain walk in your trap, take over your trap to say. She was like, "What the are you talking about?"
Well, yeah. Did it actually get through to her? Did she get it by the end? By the end?
Yeah, but it's all in the. Shot the message. She didn't understand the message because of who the messenger was, right? Like, there is nothing. Listen, and you're gonna get here. I don't know, man. Maybe with Myers you won't, but if you're blessed to have a baby girl, there's gonna come a point in time where there's literally nothing you can say that's cool anymore, ever. Like, you can't say anything. Every teenage girl, man, I'm worried about that.
You are
absolutely.
But I'd never call it cringe because I think that's cringe to claim something as cringe.
Yeah, I mean, I'm so cringe. I'm so cringy. You had to get me to rename a banner for today's show. You're like, bro, that's cringe.
Let's not tell people what the first banner said.
The first banner. We're not gonna
Sometimes
break the
you get a little bit too cute with the phrasing, Kenny. Your phrasing. You're not as careful as you need to be.
It's the phrasing.
For real.
You said, hey, bro, that might not work. And I was like, yeah, that didn't sound good at all, does it?
Yeah. No, let's get that first banner out of the way. Brendon Lewis, how about it? Last week was named the starter for your University of Memphis Tigers. And I completely get there's been mixed reviews of this decision, but Kenny, it was ultimately the obvious, out front, in your face decision that they were going to make the entire time. Absolutely. They brought in an experienced player who put up decent numbers his final year at Nevada. And, is he different than what they've dealt with the past 4 years with Seth Hennigan, yes, anything is going to be different. He's going to use his legs more. They're going to run more RPO, more read option stuff, run with the quarterback more. But he's experienced. He's not completely embarrassed. Freshmen just usually succeed at the highest levels in college football. I mean, that's a fact. It's a fact.
Yeah. It tells me on this. There's been conversation and a narrative that's kind of been spun a little bit about this season, with all the new players, with Brendon Lewis coming in, and that with Antoine Hill Jr. being the highest rated quarterback recruit of all time for the losing junior. They played a ton of football, and there's been nail team is looking as a placeholder season, and I would say that starting Brendon Lewis, it tells me they're not looking at this like that at all. Like they're wanting, because right now Brendon Lewis helps them win games more so than Antoine Hill Jr. can.
I guess the idea would be rebuilding season or gap year season. And what I would say to that is this program is not, well, it may sort of serve as shepherding into the future, even, having a good year while shepherding into the future. It's not a gap year. It's not a rebuilding year. I mean, just use context clues. They go into the transfer portal and completely rebuild using transfer seniors, redshirt seniors. They have 5 redshirt transfer seniors in the secondary. They have 3 on the D line. They have 2 on the offensive line. The wide receiver room, they just brought in Cortez Bram from Nevada. Yeah. He's a transfer, and he wouldn't have had another year of eligibility had it not been for the Diego Pavia JUCO ruling, right? So just use context clues. This team, this program, they are not in the business of going into the future, starting a young guy and winning 6 games just because, we need to practice for the future now. No. I think there was once upon a time that, you did that at the University of Memphis. Justin Fuente is a great example. Jacob Karam to Paxton Lynch. But
piano man.
You know what Fuente had that Ryan doesn't have?
What's that?
He had no expectations. He had none. He could win 4 games. He could win 3 games, and that was positive momentum from the Larry Porter era. Right now, you have people with Ryan that he's gone 21-5 the past 2 years. And I get why people are frustrated by the fact that he hasn't been to an American Conference Championship game or won one, but he's won 10 games and 11 games in successive years. And people are upset with that. So I've seen the take out there from some Memphis fans that, I was totally fine with going 7-5 or 6-6 as long as Antoine Hill learned along the way. You say that now until you actually see 7-5 or 6-6 at the end of the year, then you call for Ryan's head. Right. You know what I mean? So I think this was the obvious decision. I think they'll be very competitive, and this was always the plan for them. And I think Brendon Lewis, he is a very talented guy. And one of the things that I've seen just parroted over and over and over again, and it's becoming a pet peeve of mine. Well, he's 9-26 as a starter in FBS. He played for the worst Colorado football coach I've ever seen in Carl Durrell.
Right.
The worst one. And he wasn't particularly bad. He was just put in a horrible situation with no O-line, no wide receivers, and no running backs.
Right.
Tell me what quarterback would succeed, much less as a redshirt freshman playing for a coach that has no idea what he's doing. Then he moves on to Nevada and on the ground. I would say he made lemonade out of lemons last year.
Yeah.
And coming into this situation, better O-line, more stable program, more stable coaches, at least some weapons you can deal with on the outside, adding Cortez Bram, who he's familiar with. Like that 9-26 record means absolutely nothing when it comes to Brendon Lewis playing for the 25-26 Memphis Tiger football team.
I totally agree. And I just, again, like I said this on the Anthony Saints show this week, and I'll say it again here. I think if you are a football program that is making decisions in today's day and age of NIL and transfer portal and roster turnover and things like that, if you're making decisions to the detriment of the wins and losses, or to the wins of your program, to the success of your program, just so you can keep a player in your program,
right?
I think that is a short-sighted view of how these things work, of like how college football works.
I also am not worried about Antoine Hill portaling unless this year went horribly, right? If Brendon Lewis starts and they went 6-6 or 5-7, sure, I could see Antoine Hill Jr. saying, well, this program stinks. I don't want to play for this program. But that's not necessarily the reality to me. I think the reality is he came in spring, wanted to learn, gets to his first training camp, fall camp, and I would imagine there was some level of understanding between the staff and Antoine.
100%.
He was likely going to redshirt, maybe get a couple of reps his freshman year, and then move on with his life, and start the next 3 to 4 years at the University of Memphis. That seems like a pretty well thought out, fine plan to me. I think that a lot of true freshman quarterbacks, they probably want to start, but we have seen time and time again that true freshman quarterbacks do not lead to a whole bunch of success, man.
Yeah.
It's just the life we live, the life we lead in college football. You can't trust them to hit campus and immediately understand the offense, understand the speed. Yeah. It's just too much to ask a young kid like that at 18 years old.
It's as much as the NFL is different from the college football game. College football is different from high school, right? Like it's just completely a different game entirely, right? Like speed and talent and the very best players that you play in high school, that maybe a team that you play has 2 or 3 guys that are going to go play.
The walk-ons that end up at the University of Memphis and in the American,
right,
that don't even play were the best players on their damn high school teams.
Right.
So like it's a completely different thing. I think it's like 2% of high school varsity football players end up playing Division I FBS football.
I mean, that makes sense.
That might even be high.
2% is such a crazy number, man. Like that is wild. But I mean, you got to think about it though. You're probably right. I mean, there are some teams that have like 7 to 10 Division I guys on their program. They're competing for high school national championships if they have that many. But yeah, you're right. I mean, most of the time, most schools only have, if they have any, they have 1 or 2. So it's not like you're playing elite competition every single night. And again, I would say the narrative that I've seen, there is still, I think it kind of makes sense to me because we've experienced this. This has been the narrative about Memphis for a very long time. I think what we can safely assume, specifically after we saw the Big 12 offer that Memphis made to take their teams, take their sports to the Big 12, with the announcement that there's going to be that Memphis will be at that $20.5 million revenue sharing threshold, or cap, if you will, next year. There's been this narrative for years that Memphis is a poverty school. And so Memphis is I guess in some ways a feeder school for some of these bigger programs that come calling. And I would say if your fear is that a school is going to come into Memphis and they're going to poach an Antoine Hill Jr. because they have just way more money than Memphis, I would say to you that narrative needs to change a little bit. Like Antoine Hill Jr. might leave, and that's just the reality of the situation. It's what happens. Guys do this on a consistent basis. But it is not going to be because Memphis can't pay them as much as other schools are able to pay. They might not be willing to pay, but they can pay.
All right. I just want to point something out. To your point, who did Memphis beat out to get Antoine Hill Jr.? Do you remember? Do you recall?
Am I wrong in saying it was Florida State?
It was Florida State, and Colorado.
Yeah.
I would say if there were programs that probably had more money and could completely affect the recruiting decision using money, those three programs probably could do it. They could probably get it done. So,
right.
Yes, if Alabama came calling and said, you're going to start next year for us,
okay,
we're going to pay you $2.5 million, you're shit out of luck. I don't know what to tell you at that point. I would say go.
Yeah.
Go if they feel like you're worth that money, go ahead. But
sure.
Considering that Antoine's likely not going to play, but maybe a few snaps here and there to not blow his red shirt, probably in garbage time against Chattanooga or something like that.
Yeah.
Considering that he's not going to be putting up stats this year,
right?
I can't imagine there's going to be a whole bunch of Power 4 schools lining up after this season to say, come on down. I would imagine that there was some understanding with this coaching staff and Antoine. Hey, you could possibly redshirt, and that's okay. We'll get you back. We'll let you compete next year, get on the field, and get going. Yep. So it is what it is. And I honestly think with sort of quarterback culture in today's day and age, college football and NFL, we force guys in there too early. We don't let them go through the process they need to. They're not the type of quarterback they should be by the time they're actually starting 12 games in a season. So I like the plan that they have here personally. I very much enjoy this plan.
Yeah,
I think it's a good smart plan. It's level-headed. It's how good programs operate.
Yep,
if we're being completely honest.
I agree.
Now we have to get to some bad news.
Yeah, terrible news. Ooh.
Safety Kourtlan Marsh is out for the year. It was announced by Ryan Silverfield today at the presser, and he's a guy who missed most of last year after transferring to the University of Memphis. He had an arm injury, played a little bit, played sparingly, was more of a depth piece when he first came back. Then he ended up starting a couple games, but he is out for the year. This is brutal, man. Redshirt senior has another extra year and has a season-ending injury before the season gets going in that extra year. I feel like shit for Kourtlan because this staff thinks very highly of him. He was going to be a mainstay in that secondary, likely a starter, and he's not going to have that opportunity anymore. And he barely had that opportunity last year.
Yeah.
It's just, I mean, like for him, now it's the decision between do I get a medical hardship, come back for a year, or do I move on with my life? I don't know. I don't know which route he takes at this moment. I will say the depth of this group is already kind of shaky before we get the season going, but they do have a bunch of transfers, as I mentioned earlier, a bunch of, senior transfer corners and safeties with a lot of experience that I think could fill in nicely. But when you have a secondary that has been as bad as Memphis is for all these years, you want to have option, and you're eliminating an option that they were most confident in going into the season.
You got to feel for the kid because he became kind of popular, not even popular, but kind of well-known around college football circles because of the whole situation, the leaked DMs with Taj Rael and the playbook UTSA situation. Kourtlan was specifically mentioned in that, and Taj Rael kind of threw him under the bus, based on his injury and things like that, but from last year. And so you kind of expected and figured that he would come into this year motivated and ready to kind of prove even someone like Taj Rael wrong, right? Like, hey, man, I'm here and I'm going to make a difference and be an impactful player. A guy, I think there's like 2 returners on this entire team from last year's defense. So, and Kourtlan was one of them. Man, it's just a devastating news that he's out for the year. It's got to be tough, got to be difficult. Football, such a brutal sport, man.
Yep.
And what I mean by that is just the football gods show no mercy. You know what I'm saying? Like it just is what it is. It's what you kind of sign up for when you play the sport. But shout out to Kourtlan, and as he continues to, as he goes through the rehab process, and as he just has to make a decision on what he wants to do with his career and his life. Does he want to stay at Memphis? Does he want to apply for a hardship redshirt year and come back next year? Maybe. Or does he want to move on with his life? I don't know, but you got to be a tough time for him, and just shout out to him and prayers to his family. And it's just tough, man. I hate it for him.
Yeah, we don't know exactly what the injury is, but we just do know Ryan has announced he's going to be out for the year. I guess if I'm spinning this, at his position, at the safety position, you have Kamari Wilson transferred over from Florida State.
Right.
I know the staff feels very good about. Weirdly enough, I think he's the highest rated guy in college football 25. So there is that.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I believe so. I mean, he's one of the highest rated guys. And they have a guy in Jaden Dennis who has played, has some experience, who probably would have been behind Kourtlan Marsh on the depth chart. But he's a guy that this staff has trusted in the past.
Yeah.
So he could step up. But, not having Kourtlan out there, you're just another body dropping, which happens all the time, away from being as thin as humanly possible in the secondary. And you just don't want to see that. The secondary, you want to see them take a step in the right direction. And this is not a good start if that's the end goal. End goal. Now, I want to do this final thing before we get to the hot three. Memphis basketball news. Penny said before the tournament there at TPC Southwind that he wanted to add 2 more guys and 2 more bigs in particular.
Specifically,
he has added another Thierno Sylla or Sia, Stephen F. Austin big, and he was formerly a UCF. I think UCF's probably the better season to pull from. 23-24, played there. He's a big center, 7 foot tall. He started 10 games, played in 32 at UCF in 23-24, averaged 4.5 points per game and 3.9 rebounds per game. Just adds size to a front court that we know needs size. And he's sort of a true center, rebound, block shots, finish around the rim when asked to, be a lob threat. I don't think it's like some exciting grab by any stretch of the imagination. I don't expect him to pop next year, but I do expect him to play a fair amount. I do expect him to be likely the second center off the bench.
Yeah, I mean, they're still waiting on
the first center off the bench, I should say.
Yeah, they're still waiting on Simon Mayock to come over. He's apparently, according to Jason Muntz, the Commercial Appeal, has his immigration meeting in Serbia, where he is right now, where he's been playing ball for a while. And so he expects that once that interview happens, he'll get his visa and be able to get over here to America, get over here to Memphis ASAP. He said that's his goal, right? He told Jason, he said, my goal is to, as soon as I get the stamp, I'm on the way, right? And so the big thing is in college basketball, you just need bodies. You need big bodies, right? Like, is this guy a light your world on fire, game-changing guy for the Tigers? No, but is he a 7'1", 240-pound big that can take up space and
has experience?
And has experience, yes. That's what you need. You need that. I don't think you're not going after guys right now. There's nobody that's out there that is just going to totally change the entire trajectory of the University of Memphis basketball program this year in particular. And that's okay. Like, that's okay. I think Penny has very clearly stated that Aaron Bradshaw will be the guy that will be getting the majority of the minutes, right? In the front court for this team.
It's a hell of a bet, though. Let's not act like that's not a gamble.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're basically what I think what we're expecting is Can Penny maximize these guys to their fullest potential? We've seen him do that numerous times, right? Like you saw Moussa Cisse come back, and I would say Moussa's a much more impactful guy out there, especially on the defensive end of the floor. But let's not forget, man, Moussa's best 2 years that he played basketball in college were when he played at Memphis with Penny Hardaway.
Yep.
And so I think that Penny is a talented developmental guy who can get the most out of his guys that he can. And so I would expect the same for Thierno Sylla and Simon Mayock and the other big that Penny wants to get.
William Wharton. Come on. He's
Wharton, right? Aaron Bradshaw, a former 5-star recruit, a guy who, I'm
going to keep it real with you.
Oh, okay? No. Here we go.
I'm going to do this.
This is where
I'm not saying I'm not hating on anyone. I really am not even being critical of anyone. Maybe I'm being critical of the roster and my confidence in it. I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I'm not super confident in this roster or overly excited about this roster. I'm just not. I think it's got, even with the front court pieces that have been added, it's not a very convincing front court. I think they're going to have to play small a fair amount. And when you play small, I feel like you have to have some shooting on the floor. And they have some shooting, and we'll see if it comes together. I didn't think PJ Haggerty was going to be a 40% three-point shooter, but look at him last year. Right. So maybe there's some guys that I'm discounting, a Julius Thedford, guys like that, but I don't see an overwhelming amount of previous shooting on this roster.
Yeah.
I think defense is sort of a calling card. That could be their identity. I'm just very, very curious about offense and how that's going to look. Yeah. I think you're going to have to, especially with Sincere Parker and his situation.
Yeah.
I think you're going to have big, big, big performances.
Yeah.
From guys that you're not necessarily hanging your hat on. A Curtis Givens, Julius Thedford, Hassam Abdul Hakim. Like you have to get some big offensive pop from guys that are outside of the top couple of guys. And I just, again, I'm not convinced. This roster, I guess I'll put it this way. This is my statement. This roster is not convincing to me.
Yeah. And I think that's fair. I mean, I think that's absolutely fair. When you have to revamp your entire roster all over again, and I think in an unfair situation,
sure,
not an unethical situation, but an unfair situation to Penny, their eggs were in the basket this offseason of your boy PJ Haggerty and Dane Danger coming back, right? And so because of that, as you build your roster out and start making decisions, the roster's being built with the idea, man, Dane's got a really good case, and PJ is saying all the right things.
He can come back.
PJ's got all the money in the world. PJ's got everything he's asking for, everything Pops is asking for. You know, like, we're literally bending over backwards for this guy. And PJ did what he did. And so, yes. Is this roster missing that? At this point, does it feel like the roster is missing that dude? It does. Absolutely. The guy who's supposed to be that dude is in the middle of the battle of his life in court right now. Right? Like, and so, yes, I think your is kind of justified. Like, I think it's warranted. But we also, let's not forget, going into last season, didn't know that Memphis was going to be one of the top 3-point shooting teams in the country for the entire year.
Sure. But Colby Rogers, we knew he was 40% guy.
Third best 3-point
Tyrese Hunter, we knew, okay, he's played in some of the best conferences in the country, averaged 12 to 15 points per game.
Right.
We knew PJ was if everything sort of broke right, a guy who could be an All-American. He averaged 22 points per game at Tulsa.
Did you think he was honestly?
I did. I know there were some people
No.
asking stupid questions about it, but I thought he would be the guy, and he was. I didn't know about
All-America type of guy?
Dane was the one guy that I didn't foresee that type of role and that type of outcome with him, and it was unbelievable. Maybe Aaron Bradshaw can pop, right? Like I'm not totally sure, but
maybe Doug McDaniel can come back from his
maybe Doug can be an absolute dog.
Dougie Mack can come back and ball out.
Yeah, I mean, as it stands right now, it's just not the most convincing roster coming off of a 5 seed in the NCAA.
Totally agree. I listen. I think anybody trying to sell you a bill of goods on this roster is snorting the penny powder, right? And that's okay.
Can I be honest too? This is not a criticism of Penny. Penny
at all.
I think tried to keep a lot of the talent that he had on that roster last year. Yeah. They just didn't stay. And we could have deeper conversations about why that is. I'm not totally sure. Because I don't think these guys are transferring out because of Penny Hardaway. I don't think that's the case. Maybe it's they want another situation, or maybe there has been some guys, I'm sure, that maybe didn't get along with Penny. But I think, I don't know, 85, 90% of guys just want a different situation, want more playing time, want more money, what have you. And there's not much you can do about that. I would honestly, even though I'm not convinced with this roster, I would give Penny some good marks on this offseason. Having to pivot that way, it's pretty insane that he was even able to come out with this roster.
Yeah. I agree. Penny has earned latitude with me on the roster building that he is able to do. I think he's really turned a corner in that regard in terms of how he wants to build his roster. So right. I trust him in that regard. I would say there are some things that he said that has concerned me in the Tiger Tour stuff that he's done, the pre TPC, the FedEx St. Jude Classic talk that he gave. There were some things that he said about this team that concerned me, and that specifically offensively, they've not been very good.
Well, let's be honest, Kenny. Here's the other part of it. I immediately get concerned if we get to the tournament, the TPC at TPC, FedEx St. Jude Championship, and he says, I need to add 2 more bigs. That concerns me. This is a guy who has told us on multiple occasions he wants his whole team on campus in June or July. And if he's telling you, I want to add this late in the calendar, he's telling you, I don't think this team is good enough. That's what he's telling you. He's saying 100%. It out loud. You just got to listen.
When he says defensively, we were able to do some good things. Well, that defensively, and I don't know how it works in football. It's such a bifurcated sport, I think, in that everybody, like, you have offensive players that do offensive things and defensive players that do special teams guys who do anyway. So it's not the same type of thing. But defense is the easiest thing in the world initially to pick up, right? Like, because defense is defense, right? Like, defense is defense, right? You just play defense together, and you learn that, and then you start adding in some different things, and your energy level. Defense is mainly about energy in basketball, and so if your energy level is up, then you can pick up things on defense pretty quickly. Offense is difficult because you're learning new schemes, you're learning new, like, what does the coach want out of his offensive schemes, and if you don't have the talent level, the talent has to be up there to be able to do what your coach wants to do. And so normally in any training camp and any fall camp and anything, your defense is always going to be a couple of steps ahead of your offense in those moments. He did not seem particularly pleased with his offense and what they did in that fall.
One thing I'll give Penny credit for, though, and maybe he doesn't say it directly ever, really. Yeah. But if you listen to him and take in what he says, he'll tell you how he feels about.
He'll tell you all the time. It's beautiful. It's amazing.
he will tell you. And I know, like, saying we need 2 more bigs or our offense isn't quite where it needs to be. That may be like coded to some people. That ain't coded to me. He's
That ain't
telling me
coded.
exactly what I need to know.
Yeah. If you've been around Penny long enough, you know exactly what he's trying to say.
He's
But hey,
telling you, I don't think this roster is up to snuff yet. I don't like it that much.
But hey,
yet.
Gabe, have no fear. They just added Thierno Sylla, a guy who averages.
Hey, by the way, is that how you say his name? Is that how you say his name?
I'm country, bro. I'm trying to figure it out as we go. Well, let's wait for Dave Woloshyn to tell us how it sounds.
Whoa,
what did he call him? He called Demir Blankumsey. He called him Blankum Schmear. Have you ever heard that? Did you know that? He called him.
I'm not familiar with that. It doesn't.
His entire career, his entire time at Memphis, Wolo called him Blankum Schmear. So I'm just waiting on Wolo to tell us how you say Thierno Sylla's name. But no, I mean, shout out. He struggle in offense. So you go and add a 7'1" guy who averages two rebounds a game. It's all good. It's all good.
Oh God! I mean,
I'm halfway joking. I trust Penny in this regard.
You're full way joking,
but at the same time, I'm like, man, clearly there's some concerns there.
There's just no doubt. And you're on that penny powder if you're acting like.
But you're a hater, bro.
Everything's perfect.
Gabe, you're a hater. Stop being. You want Penny gone, and you want to bring in some other coach. You want to bring in Will Wade, don't you? Will Wade guy, aren't you?
Well, that to be honest, that ship has sailed. he's taken care of. He's got his job. He's at old NC State. He's with the Wolf Pack. So.
I love it.
That ain't happening no more.
And I'm
unless he got fired, and Penny was gone.
Do we want him if he gets fired?
Not particularly, no. Yeah. Not really. All right, now we need to go ahead and get to the hot three. That is next, right here on the Bluff Pod.
Looking for an alternative to alcohol or conventional medicine? Check out Ounce of Hope, a Memphis-based dispensary with 2 local stores in the Sanderlin Center and on South Cooper Street. You can get all the products you need in a location convenient to you. Each store offers an intentional shopping experience with dedicated bud tenders to answer all of your questions, from product selection and mushroom blends to our personal favorite, the Delta 9 seltzers. You gotta try the Peach Buzz. Try Ounce of Hope at either one of their 2 Memphis stores or at www.ounceofhope.com for convenient products shipped right to your door. Use the promo code BluffCity for 15% off any order, excluding sale items. Cannot be used in conjunction with other promotions or discounts. One use per customer.
If we just do better, like last year, you remember how many games we lost? And I got sick and tired of all of y'all, looking at all y'all in the comments and everybody on X in November and December, where I'm like, guys, we're losing to Portland and we're losing to Chicago and we're losing to Brooklyn. This is a bad sign. And I was crucified by my co-host of the $2 Sports Show for being a pessimist in November and December. And those same losses came back and bit us in the ass in the spring. We're doing the same damn thing. And I don't want to hear it. Like, I want to beat the bad teams this year. Yes, it's November and December and games don't matter. They mattered last year. They're going to matter this year. I want to beat the bad teams early in the season.
Yeah, these should be 6 wins. We should have beaten Brooklyn and Chicago in the early half of last season, and we didn't. So it's a very good point.
Like, we start the season off with New Orleans, Miami, and Indiana. Go get 3 wins. Be 3-0. Go be 3-0 when you play Golden State, like the first team with any kind of like poise or any kind of semblance of being good. Like, be 3-0. Come on, go be a legit basketball team.
Tune into The Daily Grind with your host, Luke Hatmaker, every Monday through Friday at 7:30 a.m. live on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel. In the heart of the Highland Strip for 27 years, Trilogy Tattoo has helped tell stories for Memphians for generations. Located at 530 South Highland, Richie and his team are waiting to help you tell yours.
From tattoos to piercings, your body art should be as unique as you are. Voted a Memphis Flyer top 3 tattoo shop in the city of Memphis since day one. Your story will be safe here at Trilogy Tattoo.
Open 7 days a week, Monday through Saturday, 11 to 11, and 3 to 11 on Sundays. They have convenient times waiting on you. Let Trilogy Tattoo help you tell your story. I almost forgot the Hot 3 instrumental. I'm telling
That
you,
would
man.
be unlike you.
Yeah. Oh, hey, listen, I got a question for you before we get started into the Hot 3. Pittsburgh Steelers made an announcement. They made some cuts today. In camp.
Yeah, I saw that.
Saw Rock Taylor didn't make the team, but man, have you seen the fans' response to
Yeah,
it?
I think the reaction by the fans tells the story. And I thought he was good in week 1 of the preseason. Caught a couple of balls for like 30 yards.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that they cut him. They also cut my buddy Brendon Lewis.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, they brought him in for camp and then cut him like 2 weeks later. That's tough, brother. That is tough.
It
But
sounds
Rock,
like to me.
I would imagine Rock hits waivers. Somebody will take a look at him.
I mean, he's just such a. It's clear. Like one of the knocks against him early on was that man, he's so big and so strong, but he didn't have great hands. But he's shown
He's got
an
hands.
ability. He's got hands, right?
Here's the thing: he's got physicality. He's strong. He's got decent hands. But like, even if you don't want to play him as a wide receiver on a consistent basis, and you don't think he's going to pan out as a wide receiver at the highest of levels, he could be a big help on special teams. I don't see why a team wouldn't take a look at him. Maybe keep him on a practice squad for the season.
Yeah.
But I'd imagine it gets picked up. But Steelers fans the reaction I thought was pretty cool. They were angry at the fact that Rock
not pleased whatsoever. But let's get to the first topic of the Hot 3. In the most surprising news of the NFL training camp season, the Browns have named their starting quarterback, and it's Shedeur. Oh wait. It's Joe Flacco.
Joe Flacco, something about Flacco. I just trust him. Something about
We're not surprised in the slightest. Can we go ahead and just rightfully put to bed Shedeur Sanders as the start? Like he's not.
Yeah. Well,
that's not been the conversation. It's Joe Flacco.
We'll get to that. Joe Flacco's 40 years old. Do you actually expect him to get through 17 games? Hell no. I know last time he played with the Browns was actually pretty good for him. 4-1, 13 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. He averaged in a Kevin Stefanski system 323 yards per game in those 5 games. Now, did they get their ass kicked in the wild card round? Yes, the Texans whooped their ass. But I think Joe Flacco can be a placeholder while they figure out what they want to do next and which one of these young rookies gives them a little bit of hope heading into the back part of the season. Now, their over-under win total, let's go ahead and talk about that really quick. It is set by FanDuel Sportsbook at 4.5. The over is -140, and the under is juiced at +120. So they still think that they will get to 5-6 wins in all likelihood. But here's my question. How far into the season with a 40-year-old quarterback, if you're losing games, can you continue to start him? Yeah. Right. He's not the future of this franchise. They have 2 young quarterbacks, one picked in the 3rd round in Dillon Gabriel, one picked in the 5th round in Shedeur Sanders, that I would imagine get starts this year. Now,
which one?
Let's talk about that. Who's more likely to get starts? I think there's one answer to that, one obvious answer, and I think that's Shedeur Sanders.
I think so too.
He dragged 2.2 million viewers to NFL Network to watch the Week 1 preseason game on Thursday against the Panthers. Right. They had a bunch of people in that stadium. DaBaby, the rapper, showed up in a Panthers jersey because he's from Charlotte, took it off, put on a Shedeur jersey. I think not only is their hand going to be forced by the general public and Cleveland Browns fans, I think their hand's going to be forced because Shedeur Sanders just has a very good feel for the quarterback position. And I love the conversation, and by love, I mean hate, about his physical attributes and why he dropped in the draft. Well, he doesn't have these great physical attributes. Talk to me about Dillon Gabriel, who went late day 2. Right, who went in the 3rd round. He has 0 physical attributes. He's not overly accurate. He doesn't have a cannon for an arm. He's not overly athletic. He is 5'10" on a good day. 185 pounds soaking wet. Like it seems so obvious to me what's going to happen and what's going to have to happen by the time we get to week 11 or week 12. Now, some people may not view it that way, but it seems clear to me.
Yeah. Do you think that the real battle for Cleveland this entire year is going to be who wins out in that potential new guy starting role, the rookie starting quarterback, and
Right.
Dylan Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders? Because there's been some heat. Like, I'll be honest with you. I know Dylan Gabriel came out and tried to clean it up after the game, but come on, man. The dude said at the beginning of the game, there's entertainers and there's players, right?
He wasn't aiming that at Shedeur, though.
100% he was.
No, he wasn't.
100%.
No, he wasn't. He was aiming that at the media. He was. I truly believe that. I don't think Dylan Gabriel is a dumbass enough to get up there and talk shit about.
He's a competitor.
No chance he was talking about Shedeur Sanders. I don't buy that for a second. I don't buy that for a second. I think he was talking directly to the media, which Stephen A. Smith, of course, took exception to. He knew it wasn't about Shedeur, it was about the media, and what a dumb comment. It's like, well, I don't know. I think he's kind of on to a certain extent, not about everybody, but about guys like Stephen A. Smith. But
isn't that then okay? So if he's not specifically saying that Shedeur's an entertainer and I'm a competitor, do you not think then that there's a veiled?
You know how stupid it would be for him to say that when Shedeur Sanders outperformed him?
Absolutely.
Week 1 versus the week 2 week 2 performance that Dylan Gabriel put out there. Dylan Gabriel threw a pick 6, fumbled the ball, and threw for less yards. I mean, I don't know how much more obvious it needs to be that Shedeur Sanders played better.
But even in that sense, though, like if he's talking about the media that's pushing the Shedeur Sanders narrative as entertainers, isn't he then basically saying that to pick Shedeur would be you're just falling for the entertainment narrative instead of the competitor narrative?
Well, the competitor narrative, you know who's winning that battle too?
Shedeur.
No, I think that's a bit of a stretch. I just do. I wish Dylan Gabriel did not take into account how that was going to be perceived when he said it. I thought that was pretty stupid of him because immediately everybody thought it was about Shedeur, and I don't think it really and truly was. But
I mean, if you're a competitor, if you're a 5'10", 185-pound quarterback and you've made it to the NFL, you've got a nasty sense of irrational self-confidence about yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to be a crazy psycho to make it as far as Dylan Gabriel has. Look at Diego Pavia at Vanderbilt, right? The dude's a psycho, and it works for him at Vanderbilt because he's such a competitive freak. He has really no competitive advantage over anybody, but he's able to just dog people to death because he's just a competitor. And so I understand Dylan Gabriel's comments about I'm sure he thinks, man, I am God's gift to the quarterback position, man. I am a 5'10", 185-pound NFL quarterback. You got to have that kind of mentality. But it's pretty clear if you had to have them make a decision right now, if something happened to Kenny Pickett,
if you said
Shedeur,
which rookie's going to start games this year, and you put a line on it, and I'm going to create this for FanDuel Sportsbook, I would put it at -175 Shedeur and about +150 for Dylan Gabriel. Because in the end of the day, I think you could also make this case if you're looking at the Browns. The Browns drafted Dylan Gabriel in the 3rd round, and they drafted Shedeur in the 5th round. Like, they clearly think higher of
They're
Dylan
paying
Gabriel.
him more money. There was more weight. Yep.
That would be reversed. So there's that. Kenny Pickett, though. Where do you think Kenny Pickett fits in? Cut?
Not on Cleveland.
Yeah,
not on
I
Cleveland.
don't think so either. He hasn't played, and he's hurt, and his hamstring won't get back right.
I don't think he makes it out of full camp. Honestly, I don't think he makes it out of full camp.
It's kind of funny because the original line on who was going to start for the Cleveland Browns in the 2025-26 season was Kenny Pickett was the favorite.
Right.
Joe Flacco was +1,200.
Yeah.
And I was like, I looked at that line then, and I go, that is stealing money. Right. Like, Joe Flacco's going to start for that team.
Put that whoever bet that
right. Good for you.
+1,200. Good for you. You made some money.
Great win. But Joe Flacco being named the starter is not surprising, but it confirms what we already knew, that in all likelihood there's going to be more than one guy starting for the Cleveland Browns this year. And my second guess for the second guy they run out there as a starter is Shedeur Sanders.
Yep, I think I agree with you. I think if you're Cleveland, you have to do that. It just makes no sense to throw out a Kenny Pickett. He's not your future, clearly. Let's get to the second topic. The Big Ten proposes a 24. Well, actually, they've proposed. There's 3 different models that they've proposed.
Right.
Nobody really knows which one that is it. What's his name? It sounds like Tim Pernetti, but it's not Tim Pernetti. The Big Ten commissioner, Tony Petitti. I wonder if he has a Tony Spaghetti name. Anyway, Tony Petitti, the Big Ten commissioner, pitched new models for the college football playoff this year that would expand it to either, it's at 12 now, it would expand it to either 16, 24, or 28. Nobody really knows which one he's actually pushing. But Gabe, the success of the college football playoffs, the 12 teams, I think inevitably it's going to expand even further, as especially in 2030 when all of the big alignment and the TV deals start to come up and get renewed and all that kind of stuff. All the big money contracts are happening. It's going to expand, no doubt.
Yeah. By how much?
Just by how much? Which one, if you're Tony Petitti, do you go 16, 24, or 28?
If you're Tony Petitti, I know what he's saying. 28.
You think 28?
Okay. Yeah, they proposed 28. He doesn't want to do a 16 team or bend the knee to the SEC until they go to 9 conference games. Even though I just, who gives a shit? It's not that big of a deal, in my opinion. A lot of these SEC schools, yeah, they play FCS teams in the out of conference, but I mean, look at week 1. LSU, Clemson, Texas is playing Ohio State. Like they all, I think they have a part of their out of conference contract with the SEC where they have to play a Power 4 opponent. So like, you're subtracting one conference game, you're playing a non-conference game against a similar caliber of team. And then you look at like Indiana's 3 games that they're playing in the out of conference. They don't have that same requirement in the Big Ten. It's shit. So like in a sense, the SEC has the same amount of power on their schedule. And I also think it's kind of funny to say, well, you need to go to 9 conference games. When have you ever seen strength of schedule metrics in college football?
I don't look at those often. No.
The top 10 is littered with SEC teams. And I find that it's like Tony and the Big Ten, you guys are bitching about the wrong thing. I find it weird. But the 2018 playoff that was proposed, 7 automatic qualifiers for the SEC and the Big Ten.
Unbelievable.
5 for the ACC and the Big 12. 2 for
Group of 6.
non-Power 5 or Power 4, and then 2 at-larges. That's fucking insane.
Insane.
Another Big in the Big Ten and the ACC and the Big 12. There are not 7 teams every year in the SEC or the Big Ten that are championship worthy. There are not 5 teams a year in the ACC or the Big 12 that are championship worthy. That's absolutely bonkers. And what this would also do, you're getting rid of conference championships.
Yep.
And I hate this really, really heavily because I'm friends with a lot of people over at the AutoZone Liberty Bowl. The bowl season and entire complexion of postseason football changes. Expand it to 28. Go from 12 to 28. Bowl games would cease to exist.
It'd be obsolete, basically.
I would despise this. Now, in the back of my mind, I do think this is strictly a power play, drawing a line in the sand by the Big Ten toward the SEC, because we have read the reports. They don't agree with each other on the 16-team format.
Right.
The Big Ten wants automatic qualifiers because they play 9 conference games. The SEC, wants what's it called? At-large bids, 5 automatic qualifiers, and then at-large bids, which I agree with more, the 11, because I think it keeps some semblance of the regular season alive. But the Big Ten, I think, by bringing this up, trying to put pressure on the SEC to go to 9 games. I think ultimately this gets solved. Don't know if it's by December 1st when they need to make a decision to ratify for the 26-27 season. But I think ultimately where this ends up is the SEC expands to 9 conference games. We go 5 automatic qualifiers, 11 auto bids, 16-team playoff. But I think this 24-28 team playoff is literally just trying to strong arm a conference that you don't agree with. That's what this is to me. Putting it out there so the SEC starts shaking in their boots about postseason football and what that's going to look like in a couple of years. But I do think if we ended up at 24-28, another another consequence would be step closer to Power 4 invitational, step closer to break off of college football and play Power 4 does their own championship, Group of 6 does their own championship. I think that's a step toward it.
Oh God, Gabe, that freaks me out, man. I mean, listen, I like good football, and so the idea
it freaks you out, but you know it's coming, right?
Yeah, no, it feels inevitable.
Like,
the money's too great. The power brokers behind it are too powerful. But I like the idea of more like meaningful football, right? Like I understand the need for what people love about the bowl game season and all that kind of stuff, but I'm a sucker for games that mean something for a championship. So like the idea of starting the first weekend of December, the idea of not having conference championship games, I don't like because those mean something. But having playoff games from the first weekend of December on until the very end, until you get to the winner, I like, just in my sports brain, I like it. But it's the ramifications of it for the sport that freak me out.
To me, oh God, this is an interesting conversation I'm about to pose, though. To me, I like regular season games that are seemingly play-ins to the college football playoff, as opposed to just being dropped in the college football playoff and playing to advance. I like the idea of keeping a tight circle around how many teams are able to play for a national championship and sticking with that so teams can ultimately play themselves in using regular season games. Yeah. I don't like the idea of a team being able to lose. Probably if there's 7 from the SEC and 7 from the Big Ten,
three
there could be some years a team goes 8-4.
8-4.
With an easy schedule, just luck of the draw, and ends up in
one of the 7 automatic qualifiers for the SEC.
And then they would ultimately get the 2 at-large bids. So they could end up in some years with 9 teams in the field. That's just foolish.
Gabe, they have 9 teams in the top 25 preseason poll.
That's dumb. Okay. Tennessee named Joey Aguilar their starter. Okay? I'm sorry, Vols fans. This is a gap year for you. Phase on Brandon's ready to go. And in that gap year, they're putting Tennessee at 24th in the country. Give me a damn break.
All right, last topic of the day. Michigan got their man, how long ago did this Connor Stallions BS happen? 2 years ago, 3 years ago?
when they won the Natty. That
was it, right? Well, NCAA finally dropped everything to them. And run me through, like, I don't have it in front of me.
I have it in front of me.
Yeah, run through the
4 years probation, $50,000 fine, plus 10% of the football team's budget. Fine equivalent to loss of 2 postseason dollar figures, which would, college football player for bowl. Fine equivalent to cost of 10% of all football scholarships, 25% reduction in football official visits, 14-week prohibition on recruiting comms. Jim Harbaugh got a 10-year show cause.
Damn.
Who the hell gives a damn? Why even
not Jim Harbaugh?
Who cares? Connor Stallions got an 8-year show cause, and former DC Chris Partridge got a 4-year show cause. None of these things they do nothing to affect, in my opinion, the future of Michigan football in the slightest. They do nothing. Like, it's a $20 to $30 million fine. Their endowment at Michigan is like it's $17 billion. That is like I think somebody did the math. 0.001% of their endowment is what they're being fined with a $20 to $30 million fine. Just none of this does anything. And like a football official visits, 25% reduction. Whoop-de-damn do.
Are you okay with that though? Because most of the kids that are on that team and the coaches that are on that team now that are coaching that team and playing for that team.
I'm ultimately okay with it. But what you could have done, if you're saying I don't want to punish the guys that are on campus now because they weren't a part of this, well, punish the guys that were on campus then. You had the opportunity to vacate wins, to say the national championship in 2023 was a sham. You had the opportunity to do that. And here's what I'll say, Kenny.
That would be
seismic. If there was ever something that called for it, if there was ever something going even into the future, and one of these blue blood programs that called for postseason ban or vacated wins, this was the one.
I agree.
This was the most widespread. And listen, do I think that it affected every single game of that year? No. But it affected some, and that's all that matters to me. It was the most widespread cheating scandal in the history of college football.
Wow.
I think the message is clear. The NCAA is toothless and has been for some time, and they're never really going to get back into the business of postseason bans or anything like that when it comes to blue bloods. Because who knows? Like, if Memphis were to have some big recruiting issue or a sign stealing scandal, they may give them a death penalty because somehow places like Akron have a postseason ban, and Michigan, whose violations are 10 times worse, doesn't end up with that. So I just think it sends a message when it comes to the blue bloods in the sport that generate the most dough, that have the most power. The NCAA has no power over them.
Yeah. Oh, God. Yeah, I mean, I do like the fact that the players that weren't there, that weren't involved in all that, aren't getting punished by the NCAA. But it definitely, I agree with you. It's like what I think Jerry Tarkanian used to say, the old ball coach at UNLV, that when Kentucky or Duke got in trouble, Appalachian State got a death penalty or something like that. Like,
right.
I probably really jacked up the quote.
Yeah, you just get the right schools, but I think everybody knows that quote.
Right.
It's when insert blue blood program does wrong, insert non-blue blood program takes the fall for it. That's the idea behind it. And I think it remains true today, man. It's just true. It's sad.
It is sad. Not a fan of it. The
NCAA, Kenny.
The NCAA is toothless. They are getting smoked in every court battle, and they're out of the business of holding people accountable.
Hey, looking back at the USC vacated title, give me a fucking break. Give me a break. Good God!
What was the reason? Was that the Reggie Bush?
It was the same shit that it always was. Impermissible benefits. Oh my God! They bought his mother an apartment. Oh God!
I mean, do you not remember even like Ohio State and Terrell Pryor, right? Yeah. When he sold gear for a tattoo.
Oh my God! Who cares? I'm sorry. I think you should care about your gear that you earned a little bit more in college football, but still, I could care less.
They literally Michigan literally had a whole system of stealing signs and plays from their opponents, and they literally got 4
years probation, and all the coaches that are never going to coach in college football ever again, we're going to give them show causes.
Poor Sharon. Poor Sharon Moore, though. That man has been raked up. Hey, by the way, we're going to extend your suspension for another year, another game.
Sharon brings it on himself, man. Sharon plays his part in everything that has happened at Michigan. In fact, the recruiting stuff, largely him. During COVID, largely him. Like he was the one doing all of that.
Allegedly, right? Allegedly?
Yeah, sure. Allegedly. I don't feel that bad for Sharon. He gets a 3-game suspension and a $3.5-4 million salary. He'll be all right.
Yeah, he'll be fine.
He'll be just fine. And now he's got Bryce Underwood. So we'll see how that Michigan team is this year. But I don't think they're going to feel this at all. And they should. I think if you do something as egregious as this, as out front as this, and then don't apologize. This was Michigan the entire time saying the NCAA is on a witch hunt.
Right.
They should feel this at least a little bit, and I don't think they are.
Here's what Michigan did to make up that $20 million. They went in the same vein of our MAGA friends, and they put Sharon Moore's mugshot on a T-shirt and sold $20 million worth of that and said, "Boom, you're good."
Make Michigan great again.
Make Michigan great again. Portnoy sold them on Barstool, and they made $20 million.
No, but I wonder how. Like, there was like Connor Stallion's merch. There's plenty of merch that has been sold from this whole thing.
Folks have been made millionaires off this deal.
God dang. It's pissing me off the more we talk about it. So let's go ahead and get up out of here. That'll do it. Great stuff as always, Kenny. Appreciate you. Christian should be back next week. Make sure you go like, subscribe, comment, do all that good stuff. And check out all of the great podcasts we have under this roof at Bluff City Media. We have the Anthony Sane Show, Tigers Untapped, plenty of things.
Daily Grind, 2 Bucks Sports Show every day.
Also coming up during football Saturdays.
Is it back?
We're going to have,
no, hold on. Let me drum roll.
We're going to have college football Saturdays with Rusty Witten, and I'll be showing up when I can on Saturdays. But that'll be
at Grind City Brewing.
That'll be at Grind City Brewing. So
I was drum rolling for a little G5 Classified.
Oh yeah, G5 Classified going to launch next week. So we're ready to go with Kyron Samuels and I with our interviews every week. First episode, we're not going to have an interview. We're just going to get you prepped for the group of 6 year. Yeah. But we're ready to go.
Can't wait to have Big Kai back on our network, man. That's gonna be fun.
Hey, you know what he added to his jobs list? You know what he does now?
What's he do?
He's a national scout for Clutch Sports. Their football.
Oh hell yeah! Oh hell yeah! So, dude, Kyron is a beast.
For Big Kyron Samuels. Great stuff. Great stuff. But we're gonna get up out of here. We will talk to y'all next week.
Thank you for listening to On the Bluff. If you enjoyed this episode, leave a rating and a review wherever you download your podcasts. Also, like and subscribe to Bluff City Media's YouTube page. Head over to www.bluffcitymedia.co for comprehensive coverage of Memphis sports and how you can become an insider.